Okay, so this video was a long time coming. So I decided to record a video instead of writing it up as a post. Just so because I've already been putting this off for a while, but I thought people should know about this. So we've been Infusionsoft users for practically 10 years now. Okay, so on August 1st, we received this email, or I received this email from Infusionsoft. Pricing and service update from Infusionsoft. My name is blank, your new customer service manager, which is first time I'm hearing of such a thing in all these 10 years. Introducing our new high volume program. So due to the high number of contacts or email activity on your Infusionsoft account, you will be automatically added to this program. The new high volume program includes exclusive features and benefits like me, your dedicated customer success manager. Ooh, wow. And access to IS experts. Unlimited email sends and zero email overage fees. A special phone number for preferred technical support, which actually sucks. Pre-launch reviews to help improve the success of your campaigns. Advanced email reports and insights to optimize your campaign performance. Quarterly best practice webinars with Infusionsoft email experts. At the same time, we must inform you that your pricing will be changing to our updated Infusionsoft pricing structure. Your new pricing and package is based on what you're currently using, up to 300K contacts, unlimited emails plus any extra users and add-ons you currently have, at a new monthly cost of $1,275 US. By the way, our current pricing is $299 US per month. Looking through what you are using versus what you have, I believe there is room to reduce this number. Yeah. While this is an increase from your current pricing, 400% increase, yes, it's still a strong value, I don't think so, when compared to completing plans and rates. Plus, you'll be getting the premium support and benefits listed above. No, not worth it. Your pricing will not change for the next 30 days. So in essence, they gave us 30 days notice. The price will be reflected on the first bill you receive on or after September 26. I tried to reach you by phone earlier and would like to connect soon to explain the program further, share details, blah, blah, blah. Signing off here. Now let me just go through this. I tried to reach you by phone earlier. Okay. Now, Infusionsoft is based in Arizona. We are based in Hong Kong. He tried to reach us by phone, which was a very lame attempt because we use a voice over IP service. I could see there was a missed call and nobody left a voicemail it was like 2 a.m. Hong Kong time. So of course, nobody's in the fucking office. No one is going to be answering that telephone call, which was their so-called attempt at reaching us by phone. Now, let's not even get into the fact that after 10 years of being a loyal customer, they're only giving us 30 days before they raise our price by 400%. Now, they're saying our usage is about 300 contacts because our legacy plan that we were on allowed 500K contacts, which we used because I can tell you probably about 95% of those number of contacts were offline contacts we used as mailing contacts, which is what a lot of people used Infusionsoft for, back in those days. Probably not so much anymore in these days. But it's still possible to, use Infusionsoft as integrated automation for even offline indirect mailings. Okay, so that's what we were using it for. And when I had always thought that, and really from my past experience, all software companies, tech companies will usually grandfather in their loyal customers into whatever original plan they were on. But it doesn't seem like this is the case with Infusionsoft. And I learned later that this is because they had new management coming in, okay? And so they kind of felt like, I guess, either the outlook was that, hey, these customers are pretty much, their businesses are very highly intertwined with Infusionsoft. It's going to be a real bitch to really move off our platform, so they're going to just have to take this price increase. Or it's like, okay, if they want to leave, then, let's see them leave because let's see how they'll find how difficult it is to move marketing automation platforms. Now let me go through all this, okay? What they could have done was, now I want to get something straight. I don't really have a beef with Infusionsoft as a product. Infusionsoft is one of the better marketing automation softwares out on the market that I believe, okay? It's not 100% perfect, but I know none of these other competitors are perfect either in some way or another. It's just really a matter of, well, which marketing automation platform is right for you and your business, okay? And at that time, and what was out in the market and available to us, Infusionsoft was really our best choice, okay? We came off of NetSuite or NetCRM, which was a load of crap too. And their customer service out in Asia Pacific was absolutely abysmal. Anyways, that's a different story. So getting back to Infusionsoft, so imagine getting this kind of email telling you after 10 years, your vendor is increasing your price by 400% and you have 30 days to deal with it. Not very nice, and it really came at really one of the worst times possible for us in the business. Super busy right now. I had to have focus on all these other things, and now I have to deal with this crappy situation. Okay, pardon all my French in all of this, and I do speak French actually, but you can see how pissed off I was with Infusionsoft with this issue. Okay, because as I mentioned, I don't have a problem with Infusionsoft as a product. I think it's still a very good marketing automation product. Okay, don't get me wrong. And even though Infusionsoft is not perfect, my main beef with Infusionsoft was the way they handled this whole situation. And apparently, what I found out later is I posted in the Infusionsoft user group, the unofficial Facebook user group, okay? And apparently this was not the first time a lot of loyal customers were getting this type of email that had already gone through this batch. But the first time I was experiencing it. So I posted it here, and you can see here it yielded a whole bunch of comments and reactions as well. And so getting back to this, my main beef is not with the product itself, and I'll get to some of that later. It is the way they handled this. Okay, so we were probably one of the first customers for Infusionsoft in Asia. Even some of the Infusionsoft certified partners I've met for Asia, they haven't been using Infusionsoft nearly even half the amount of time I have been. Okay. So here they are, and I think they really could have handled it better because they would have been able to see, one, where we are based. So they could have actually made an effort to try to call us or reach us by phone during our time zone. Okay, one. Two, they know we have been a customer for 10 years. So you don't just send this kind of an email to your customer from 10 years ago, who've been with you for 10 years. Okay. Three, because we were grandfathered in, they wouldn't know what plan we were originally on. Okay. And four, they can actually see our actual usage. And I can tell you, we had about just over 212K contacts in our database. Okay. But in terms of how many contacts we were actually emailing was probably about 10K. 10K worth of contacts that we were actually actively emailing, because everything else was offline contacts. So we never emailed any of those other 200K contacts. And they can see that from their usage reports if they actually bother to look. So we wouldn't fall under a high value program. All they could have done is just say, hey, it looks like you've got just under 300K contacts. Hey, would you mind? But you're only emailing about 10K worth of contacts. Do you think you can reduce your database to about your actual active contacts that you're actually emailing, and then we can price it accordingly? They could have just gone on with that, and I probably wouldn't have bothered. So, okay, fine, and whatever, what's the new pricing? If it's around the same price we're paying, then you know what, fine. Then the pain of moving off of it probably outweighs the actual any sort of price change that we would experience. So I'd probably still stay with them if that were the case. But this is not the tact or the approach they decide to take. Okay, that's really what my big beef is. They could have done it that way, but they decided not to. Because apparently all the messages I got from this customer success manager afterwards was that, oh, sorry, I did feedback this back to management, but they don't care. This is what they've decided to do. Okay. And the only reason, and from the comments I got from my Facebook thread, was that a lot of people got the same message, but they never heard back from this guy. Okay, they're scrambling. They're 30 days to deal with this. Either I move my clients off this platform or move my business off this platform in 30 days, or I have to deal with a 400% increase in price. I need to talk to this guy. Well, apparently it was very difficult to get in touch with this guy afterwards. Luckily for me, I posted in the Facebook group and yielded quite a lot of comments and attention. But it was only because some of and I want to say this too, the Infusionsoft community is actually really great. All the ICPs, the Infusionsoft certified partners, the user group base, and the Facebook group are really great. They're very helpful people, and it's not a reflection on Infusionsoft. Okay, they have a great community, I'd have to say. Okay, very helpful people in the group, and that's why some of them that were helped tag a bunch of Infusionsoft staff was the only reason I probably got any kind of response back. Okay, which is, I don't think is very fair and very troubling as well. I don't think it needs to be escalate up that high in order to get a response that they're supposedly promoting as a benefit, which is not a benefit at all, honestly. Having a customer success manager who doesn't reply back to you is not a benefit at all. It's just a pain in the ass and irritating. So getting back to this as well. So after a lot of back and forth, and I immediately started checking out. Luckily, I already knew that one day, if for whatever reason, knock on wood, I had to move off of Infusionsoft, or something happened to Infusionsoft, I'd need to know where would I move to. Okay. And I never really thought that I would actually have to go through with it, but I actually had to this time around. So I knew all the main competitors, the ones I needed to look at. So the ones that I looked at immediately were Kartra from Andy Jenkins. So that wasn't available way before when we started with Infusionsoft. So I tried a $1 trial with Kartra, and I knew I always wanted to look at ActiveCampaign as well and Ontraport. So those were the main ones that I was going to look at or consider before deciding on whether we were going to move off Infusionsoft or bite the bullet or reduce at least our database and get our pricing down. Just as a side note, after reducing our database and probably removing a lot of the features that we were still wanting to use, our pricing would have gone from $299 to $499 or something like that per month. Still quite a price increase for a small business. And remember, Infusionsoft is marketed as a small business marketing automation. That pricing is not really a small business type of pricing, but I'm not going to mention names, but there is one particular user in the Facebook group that is just like such an Infusionsoft fanboy. I don't know what his thing is with them. He loves to just defend them to the hilt when Infusionsoft is no better than a lot of the other services, and he's defending Infusionsoft, saying, well, you moving off Infusionsoft, there's no other, all the other ones are not any better. There's always gripes in all the other user groups. You know what? We get it too. That's not the problem. And I commented that, we're all smart enough to know that, none of these automation platforms are perfect. It's whichever is best for you. But what we really look at is like, well, how do they treat their loyal customers who've been with them for 10 years or more, right? Well, this kind of showed Infusionsoft's true colors, and that really bugged me. And from what it looks like, all the comments, a lot of Infusionsoft certified partners had to move their clients off this because of this pricing issue as well. And that screws the ICPs, I think. And we were actually in the middle of discussing selling Infusionsoft like as resellers or as partners, and we quickly stopped. We quit. We stopped that application. We decided to withdraw that from that immediately because of this. Because if they're going to treat us loyal customers like this, how are they going to treat our customers? Refer to them in the future. If it doesn't happen to them now, even though they say yes, they have the new plans and new sort of Infusionsoft view now that has a different pricing. It's still expensive, I think. you know what, if this is the way they're treating loyal customers of 10 years, eventually that's going to happen to all these customers who are supposedly new now and then eventually are with them for a number of years. So that didn't sit well with us. That's not something that really is in line with our values as a business. Okay, so that's why we couldn't, in good faith, be associated with them anymore. So we decided after I did evaluate Kartra. It didn't quite fit my needs. It looks great on paper. I think it's still got a little bit of work to do, but it's not a bad system and it can work for other clients. It really depends on what your usage is and what your needs are, but it looks like a very good platform. I did try it out. It just didn't work for my particular needs. So I then looked at Entreport, but I didn't really feel like we wanted to justify that. It was about the same pricing as our current pricing with Infusionsoft. But I kind of felt like, well, I was able to get kind of recreate what our current stack is by going through with ActiveCampaign. And because I'm a reseller for ActiveCampaign now, I've decided to go with ActiveCampaign, and I was able to move pretty much 80 to 90% of all my Infusionsoft automations to ActiveCampaign within 3 weeks. Okay, I worked my ass off, but now there is no easy way. I had to really manually do it, but I did it in a smart way and in a modular way. So, I mean, it doesn't recreate everything 100%, and it meant that moving off of Infusionsoft meant that there was a lot of things that we didn't need anymore. So I was using Memberium for our membership and online course access, user access. Now, don't get me wrong, Memberium is actually great. One of the best. If you need to launch a membership site with Infusionsoft, then use Memberium. That is one of the best ones. I actually moved to, now I know Memberium has an ActiveCampaign integration, but I decided to go with something else called WP Fusion plugin, which works really great too. I really like it because I was looking to recreate the e-commerce function with WooCommerce. So I thought WP Fusion works with WooCommerce as well. So like Memberium only does the membership access, so it doesn't really like work on the front end with WooCommerce, and that's kind of what I needed. So that's why I didn't go with Memberium, which Memberium is still a great product though. Okay, but WP Fusion is another great one that I think is relatively new. And I've been very happy with it. I mean, I can tell you, there are very few developers out there that develop integrations with Infusionsoft that have good integration with Infusionsoft. Okay, now if you're like a business like ours, I had over 3,000 tags in our app. Most developers did not know how to handle that. Their response was typically, oh, well, there's a 1,000 call limit, blah, blah, blah. No, you know what? All the developers that know what the fuck they're doing, like Memberium, Dave Bullock, Troy Broussard, and WP Fusion plugin so far, they are the only ones that I've seen that know what the hell they're doing in terms of integrating with Infusionsoft and dealing with Infusionsoft API calls and their limits, okay? There are ways to get past that 1,000 limit, okay? You guys just need to learn. And those guys that I just mentioned are some of the best in the field that I've seen. So, kudos to them. So anyways, as you can see, there is a lot of back and forth afterwards with our customer service success manager, rather. I told them what I felt. I thought, typically companies should grandfather us in, blah, blah, blah. And in the end, I told them that, when I found that I could move off of Infusionsoft and migrate to ActiveCampaign relatively smoothly, which I did, I just notified the guy that, we're leaving Infusionsoft. And you know what? There is no sort of offer to say like, okay, oh, we like to keep your business, blah, blah, blah. It's just, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, well, okay, we'll close your account after this date. That was it. 10 years as a customer, and that's pretty much it. When you tell them you're going to leave because of something stupid they did, well, you know what? So then I'll leave it to you to decide whether that's a company you want to deal with. Afterwards, after I had moved off, there's as other people were starting to receive these same emails. I saw another guy that posted this in the Facebook group, and then again another massive maelstrom of comments and discussion. But luckily, I mean, this guy, he knew Clayton Mask, who's the CEO of Infusionsoft, right? So he knew them. And he actually ended up tagging Clayton Mask directly. So he was lucky enough to have a direct line, and he actually got a call with McClate, and then worked out whatever the issues were. And you know what? I mean, I think that's great. He got his issues resolved. But I think, you know what, for all the other customers who don't have a direct line to the CEO of the company, a lot of us were left without any sort of avenues of resolution except to move off it or suffer the price increase. And that doesn't sit well with me. Okay. So really that's it. And that's the reason why after 10 years, we left Infusionsoft. Now, I just want to repeat, Infusionsoft as a program, while it's not 100% perfect, because, as Infusionsoft users, a lot of us put up with the fact that we got to pay so much more money, extra money to, make it work or have these extra features like the reporting, the order forms, the e-commerce side. I think as it was a bit ridiculous, to be honest, but we still put up with it because, Infusionsoft as a product was still relatively good, versus a lot of the other competitors on the market. But you know what, if this is the way they treat us, though, then then there's no point in putting up with that, right? And I know ActiveCampaign or Entreport or whatever, it's not going to be perfect either. There's going to be teething problems all along. And ActiveCampaign, while there are certain things I like about it, and I was able to do certain things very quickly and better than Infusionsoft, there are some things that I think Infusionsoft is better than ActiveCampaign in some senses. But you know what? There's probably some things I can still live with. That doesn't really hinder me in any way, really. It's just more a preference. So that's why I always say it's not a matter of choosing the platform and deciding. It's a matter of seeing what your business is and then deciding on which platform is best for your business, what you feel comfortable using, okay? And what gets you the results that you need for the price that you can accept, okay? Now, I know a lot of the arguments in the Facebook group were that for the IS defenders were like, oh, you know what, for the price you're paying, you're getting a great bargain, blah, 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 and it's still lower than the price of hiring a full-time marketer, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I get it. You know what, I've been doing this for 10 years too. I understand all the arguments for marketing automation, right? I get it. But that's not the point, and that's what the point that you guys don't get. For those are the ones who are arguing for it, okay? So that's it. That's why we left Infusionsoft. We migrated off of Infusionsoft after 10 years. So there it is. End of rant.